welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben, joined here by Brian. Unfortunately, Dylan lost a fist fight with a box of popcorn, so he will not be joining us tonight.
Yep. It was unfortunate, but we're soldiering on. We're facing one battle after another, as it were. But Ben, Survivor 49. What can we say?
It's a season of Survivor in the new era.
After this episode, I texted our little group chat.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most standard second episode of a new era Survivor season that's ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like am probably more aligned with like Dylan's perspective after this episode. From episode 1, his perspective, the last time we recorded, where like I don't know, the season to me so far has just been like kind of inoffensive. Is the word I would use for it. Where like I'm not upset about anything that's happening, which is like more than I can say about certain episodes of the new era, or like even seasons of the new era as a whole. But like I feel like I'm not really sold in the season yet. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, as I said last week, I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't want to say over Survivor, but like, it is what I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
To paraphrase, who was that? Denny Green, coach of the Cardinals back in the day. Survivor is what we think it is, and until Survivor shows that it wants to be something different, hopefully something more like it was, this is what we can expect to see, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have 50 coming up in the spring, so like, I still have hope that could at least breathe some life into the show, and they might like reboot a little bit after 50, and like maybe come back with 51 with some new stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It just feels like it feels so soulless.
I agree, and it's just like, I don't know. Like, I know Jeff is really involved with everything right now, and maybe that's the problem, that he can't really see the kind of negatives that we see, because he's too close to it. But at the same time, I feel like it's hard to not see the negatives, and maybe this is just the show he wants it to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, this is the thing, right? I do think that the new era has kind of made small adjustments in the right direction for the most part, season over season. It's just because the format is so repetitive and so like they've neglected to vary the format enough, like season over season, that everything kind of blends together. Like the improvements in like the small kind of minutia of what they're doing, like for example, I think this journey was like better than the average journey. I think that like the changes they made with Beware Advantages season over season have made them a better twist. But like, it's still a journey. It's still a Beware Advantage. We've still seen this play out over and over again every single time, like basically on a schedule, as the new era, like every new era season plays out. The 3 Tribes of 6, again, 9 seasons in, over and over and over and over again, they just tend to play out the same way, and there's such limited variation in how the pre-merge can go. As we've gone over, we talked about this last week, we've talked about it in previous seasons, that like it's hard for me to like care about the things I am enjoying, like the small kind of wins I'm seeing in the episode as a viewer, because like the overall product just feels so bloated and repetitive to me.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that every other season they keep the same buff color scheme. It doesn't help either that, a lot of the people are like very similar to each other. Um, it feels like a lot of people don't want to come on Survivor to win Survivor so much as they just want to get on Survivor. And that's like their end goal. Like their whole life has been leading up to being on Survivor, not necessarily locked in to win Survivor, you know?
Yeah, I mean, part of that might be the lack of adjustment of the prize. Like, I mean, $1 million is obviously still a lot of money, but like compared to in 2000, it's like, you know, the difference between changes the duration of the rest of your life versus nice. I can like buy a decent home in like, you know, most places in America and like not have to worry about that and pay off my student loans. And then whoops, I have no more money left actually.
That's so real. And I think, you know, we've talked about it before too. And it's very validating to see other people come to these conclusions that we were talking about a few seasons ago. But I think the like prevailing feelings about the show are a lot of stuff that we pointed out, where Survivor is something that really only people who work like office jobs can play. And occasionally musicians.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, you know, as we're talking about episode 2, like, you know, we haven't talked much about the episode yet. We've gone 5 minutes as you know, talking about the macro stuff, but yeah, obviously Annie is one of the few examples of somebody who's not just like a white collar worker.
Going to be a white collar worker, a cop, or a firefighter, or a musician, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
strong union. Or you got nothing to lose.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just a consequence of like, you know, larger socio-political issues with the country as a whole.
Definitely, yes.
As opposed to like a Survivor issue where like, you know, it was maybe, you know, easier to sell the idea of getting somebody to go on a reality show 25 years ago. And now your option is to basically like try to full send it as a career. And that leads to a certain type of person applying for these types of shows. And it leads to a certain type of gameplay or type of character kind of being presented or played up by the people who come onto these shows as a result. So, yeah, I mean, maybe like the solution is, I don't know how likely it is for them to bump the price to like, you know, even like 1.5 million, if not like obviously 2 million. They did 2 million for Winners at War as a one-off. Like, I don't know how reasonable it would be for them to do that every season. I do know that their ratings are up, as have been the ratings for both The Amazing Race and Big Brother this year. So maybe that's encouraging for CBS to invest some more moolah into their reality programs. But if they're not willing,
they're going to be like, well, why would we change it?
That's true.
You know?
That is true. Like, you know, I mean, Big Brother did, you know, a few years ago up their prize pool from 500,000 to 750,000. So it's not like impossible for them to do such a thing. Like, you know, an appropriate comparable bump for Survivor would be going to 1.5 million. It would be like a 50% bump. So,
yeah, I was a little surprised that Big Brother did that, but I think you gotta, right? Like $500,000 is nice, but it's not like, it's not worth the psychological torture of Big Brother.
Yeah, I mean, like 3 months of your life, and like you said, the psychological torture for like a 1 in 16 chance at $500,000. Like, you know, if we're gonna like math out those odds, you know, that what comes out to like an average of like 30 grand. You know what I mean? Like, that's what like 30 grand for 3 months of work. Like, that's like a good salary that, you know, would extrapolate to like $120,000 salary. But like, is that worth the like, you know, amount of psychological damage you're doing to yourself, and like putting yourself into the to the spotlight of an entire nation / world of psychopathic viewers. Like,
it is not worth dealing with, even like putting aside the show. It's just not worth dealing with the people on Twitter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, should we talk about the episode?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about the episode. Like, I guess, like, what is your favorite part of the episode? Because I have one scene in the episode that I really liked, and then the rest of the episode I was like kind of half asleep for.
Favorite part of tonight's episode. I mean, the challenge was fun. And it leading to the Yellow Tribe still winning the challenge was very funny.
Yeah, I guess that's true. The match chat and the challenge, especially. I like the like, outcome of the match chat and the challenge, and like, Sophie kind of, getting her first line of the season where she is like, no, that's bullshit or whatever it is, Joanne. Like, you can't do that to us. It's war. Like, this is an attack on our tribe.
Yeah, winning despite the disadvantage was pretty baller by them. And I liked when other Sophie called her Karen. That was fun. I used it as the thumbnail for our episode on YouTube today. Yeah, Yoderbrick just, calling someone a Karen. Very fun. Yeah, other than that, like, I'm over the idol scavenger hunt escape room stuff. I'm so over it. Like, please just put it in a bush and let someone find it, and that's that. Please, Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the Wear Advantage has kind of played out at this point. Like, the whole, like, I get the concept, and I think like I said, I think that they've tweaked it to get to it in a good spot for in terms of like game balance, but like, they've taken so long to get there and they've only like slightly tweaked it every time that it's not interesting anymore.
I think too, just like, I get the idea that, we're going to have these idols look kind of shitty so that people can make fake idols that are more convincing. But like, I don't think it really paid off. Just go back to cool idols.
Yeah, and when was the last time we really got like a real like fake idol that like had a major impact in the game?
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Yeah. Millennials versus Gen X, when Jay found the fake idol and played it.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a long time ago.
The first thing that came to my mind was like the end game of Edge of Extinction with Rick Devens, but like even that was like,
right, I forgot about that.
It had very little strategic impact, and it was like mostly just a gag.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're good. We're good. Bring back cool idols. And they had like the compass, the shrunken head. The heroes versus villains ones are so iconic. Like, come on, get that art department working on something cool. Like a few years ago, they did the. It was like a night theme. Was that Survivor 44? And sick immunity necklace. Could have had one idol be a shield, one be a sword. Could have been one be an axe, like a battle axe. Could have been some cool stuff. But
no, I think that's something to point out too. So I think the art department in the new era is like probably one of the highlights.
Yeah, really good.
Like the tribal council design, the immunity, like the tribal and individual immunity designs have all been quite good. Really like stunning. Obviously, like people memed on Eva in the game itself, memed on the garlic last year, but like, still, I think on the whole, the art design for the new era has been one of the highlights, and definitely
let them flex their muscles. We don't need beads on string. This looks so shitty.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they were like, we don't want people taking them home anymore, so we're going to make them not that cool.
Yeah, no, I think that all of the interesting, because we even had, I think it was in 47, right? The whole idea where like each tribe's immunity idol also came with like a fake idol that was also matching one of the real idols from the other tribe in a cycle kind of deal. It was something like that. I think it was 47. I might be getting the season wrong for that because it didn't really pay off meaningfully. So like I understand the like vibe of what they're going for. I think is what's more interesting if they really want to like push this like cool stuff with fake idols and like bluffing and all of that. Something that I think has worked in the new era is having idols with expiration dates and then people choosing to not play them or not needing to play them by the expiration date and then holding on to them and then using them later in the game as a bluff. Like that's something you can do with like a really well-designed idol because it's still a real idol for X amount of days. I think that's probably a better way to do that going forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, what was it? Heroes, Healers, Hustler, the 1 round idol that was like really cool, and then ended up coming back later. Because it's like you have something like that on there, and it's like, well, clearly that's the real idol. Like, where else would it come from?
Yep.
You know. So yeah, I think you're onto something there for sure. But what was the one moment that you liked? From the
I like the scene. I like the scene in the Red Tribe with the Jawan in the bag and Savannah like kind of spiraling over Jawan in general.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I don't know. I feel like there's like some context missing here that like, and they're only kind of telling like a very surface level story because they have to spend so much of their time on the Kelly tribe who's losing constantly. So this kind of feels more like it was one setting up Jawan winning the thing at the the journey, and 2 setting up the tribe dynamics and like really solidifying this 4-person alliance that we had talked about last week that seemed to be being telegraphed a little bit, and then 2 or 3 like it was just kind of like putting the seeds in motion for like either Jawan surviving to a swap or a merge and then something happening, or like being set up as a target down the line so they don't have to do all of their storytelling later. I don't know. It was a very dumb scene. I think like Savannah to me is a really interesting kind of character where like she does seem to have like kind of a strategic stranglehold on this tribe so far. Obviously, we haven't seen them go to tribal council. It's really hard to tell like if that's accurate, if that's just like the story that's being told. But like she also seems like kind of illogical and paranoid in like a really weird way. But like, I mean, Jawan was using her bag, and he was, when it wasn't malicious, from what we could tell, it was like an accident, and like he was just at a social faux pas. So I don't know. What was your kind of read on that whole scene?
It was, yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I don't really like this person or I'm against this person, and then they do something and you're like, see, I knew it. I knew that I didn't like this person.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we see this a lot, especially on Big Brother, where there's like a house pariah or like whoever the consensus target is for that week in the house ends up becoming like even more social outcast, and then people will exaggerate negative aspects of their personality or things that they've done to like turn them into some kind of like evil boogeyman so they can self-justify the social isolation that they're doing kind of implicitly. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's I think it was a bit of that, really. Yep. And we'll see how it pays off. Surely it will at some point, but
you would hope.
Yeah. What do you think of the Shoe Bandit?
I don't get it. It does nothing for me.
It does nothing. It is a kiss of death so far, though.
I mean, that's kind of. I feel like that's kind of like a reversal of cause and effect.
No, yeah. I would just mean like the editors will show him hiding the shoe of the person going out 2 for 2 so far. We'll see if next week they go to tribal again and he does it again.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like it's not that like it's some like bad omen. He's deliberately hiding the shoe of the person who's socially outcast. That's the person who gets voted out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just dumb. I don't know. Why is he doing this?
It makes no sense. It's not like malicious enough to matter, but it's also like played up in a way that makes it feel like it's a bigger deal than it is. but it just kind of feels like it's just constructed to just be like a bit on the show, but it also means nothing. So it's just the whole thing is so weird. I don't get why Jake is doing it. I don't get why the show is like focusing on it as a thing. None of it makes sense to me.
No, me either. Unless maybe he gets caught. I don't know.
Well, didn't like ask, was it Sophie or somebody that like he like asked them like, is this
where the shoes are?
Is this, any shoes? And then 5 seconds later he's like throwing the shoe. It's like it doesn't feel like he cares that much about getting caught.
Yeah. If he's trying to throw him off the set, the next one has to be his, right? He's got to come back.
That's the play. That's like the trainer is like putting yourself.
You guys seen my shoe? Yeah. We'll see if he does that. But yeah, I don't know. Weird tribe. I feel like so far.
I mean, we kind of saw this coming in the preseason that this was going to be the disaster for us.
Yeah. Sometimes there's three tribes, Yeah. Oolong, Matt Singh, now was it Kaylee?
Yep.
Yeah. Going into the Survivor Hall of Fame of losers.
Yeah, no, they're in some good, company though, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff even pointed it out that some, the was it the intentional Matt Singh strategy? Like it's, even being pointed out by Jeff now. It's not just a super fan thing.
Yeah,
get into the show. So.
Well, almost 15 years later, the show is kind of finally caught up to its own meta.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, obviously, referring to even just like in the new era, you have like we talked about this, right? Like the Tika 3, and like you have like Emily and Caleb to a degree, but mostly Emily. And obviously going back originally to Matt Singh, where you have Denise and Malcolm. The idea that
last season's Green Tribe did not get the boots though.
Well, yeah, I mean that's because one, there was a swap where dynamic shifted, and then two, the loyalty stuff was just too strong.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see who makes it out of the wreckage of this tribe. Because listen, Ben, if pretty much all of these pre-merge challenges end in a puzzle, this tribe cannot make a puzzle.
Well, it's surprising though, because I guess he beat Rizzo, who was self-described one of the worst puzzlers ever. But Alex kind of smoked Rizzo in the first journey puzzle. So maybe it's just sleep deprivation combined with they talk about in this episode their brain fog that comes with being starving and sleep deprived and dehydrated and stuff like that, and not having a fire. Maybe it's that, but I thought that the show would set up that Alex was at least okay in puzzles, but maybe not.
Yeah, no,
he did very bad this one.
Really bad. They were winning too, and they blew it all the way from the front, which is just so unfortunate. Because they needed that, man. They needed that win yesterday. Now I don't see them getting a win before swap.
Yeah, I mean, I guess talking about that, this is kind of another thing that the new era has not adjusted on, in my opinion, is the whole stealing the Flint thing, where we've talked about this on multiple seasons in the new era, even comparing going back as far as Fiji with the have and have not twist, the idea that you're going to environmentally punish the tribe that lost. Well, okay, so you're going to make it so the tribe that just lost a challenge is now weaker for the next challenge. That seems counterintuitive towards how you would build an interesting game.
Yeah, man. If I was ever on a production crew and they said something like that, I would immediately force them to watch all of Opposite Worlds and just be like, it doesn't work. There was a whole show.
Well, again, they don't have to watch Opposite Worlds. They can literally just watch Survivor Fiji. They did it built upon this premise, and it was a shit show from a perspective of equitable competitiveness.
Yeah. Remember when you were like, okay, you won this challenge, but you have to either give up your camp or give up immunity. And they were like, yeah, we're going to give up immunity. There's no way.
It's strategically correct. Like you're like the bird in the hand and two in the bush.
It should be the opposite, right? It should just be like rotating. And if you win immunity, you're on the loser beach. And if you lose, you're in, the Hilton on the island.
I mean, that would make sense, right? Like, and I mean, they kind of did like a variant of that concept with like the Medallion of Power in Nicaragua. Yeah. Like people like to meme on the Medallion of Power, but like as far as like Survivor Twist goes, it's at least rationally designed. Like there are plenty of Survivor Twists that are way more illogical and awful than the Medallion of Power. People just like ragged on it mostly because it was like somewhat inconsequential and like kind of very flagrantly put in to make it so that the older tribe had a chance to not be demolished in challenges.
Yeah, and they won one challenge with it, right?
I don't know what the statistics are. I haven't looked at the Medallion of Power statistics. I think that
Shannon guy got voted off.
Yeah, well, I think most of the time the team who played the Medallion of Power won, right? Yeah. I'd have to double check, but like...
And it's just like the young tribe was probably going to win those challenges anyways.
Yeah.
Like if it was an even playing field, but since they have the Medallion of Power, it's just like, yeah, they're definitely going to win.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that was the premise, right? Like we'll put in a thing that kind of alternates each tribe getting an advantage. And so then the stronger tribe will win with the advantage that they would have won otherwise. But then we're giving the weaker tribe a chance to win at least 50% of the challenges.
Yeah. Ben, we're coming around to the Medallion of Power after all these years.
I've always been not a defender of the Medallion of Power, but like kind of confused at why it always got so much hate. Because like
I think the name is so goofy.
Yeah, it's a goofy name. It's like because it was so obvious what the purpose of it was, and it kind of was like loosely riggy. But like from a game design perspective, to make the game both equitable and also create more interesting television, like I think it at least pretends to accomplish both, as opposed to like many Survivor Twists they've done, which like flagrantly go against at least one of those premises. So
yeah, no, I agree. Well, Kayla could use some Medallion of Power right now.
Well, they got one and they still lost.
Yeah, it didn't matter. You're right. Never mind. They need that on top of, they need 40 pounds, 20 keys.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What were your thoughts, I guess, on Jawan's choice? Because I kind of went back and forth on which tribe he should have used the disadvantage on.
I would have probably just buried the tribe that I had already lost.
Yeah, I think that's the reasonable thing to do. I think if your intent is winning the immediate challenge in front of you, but like I understand from perspective of like the larger game perspective, trying to play like some kind of like social game to it, where like, hey, he is going to hurt the yellow tribe, and then they still win. So now they're pissed off that they got disadvantaged, but like they still won. So like it's not going to sting long term as much. I feel like they'll probably get over it in a round or two and not really like hold any long term grudges in theory. Right. Whilst it's really building a lot of goodwill with the blue tribe, and as we have pointed out, the blue tribe are still losing. They're still going to probably diminish down until like 2 or 3 people, who are then going to be the swing votes at the merge. So like, if you've built goodwill with the people who are probably going to be the swing votes, and you've only marginally pissed off the people that you were probably going to target at the merge anyways, I think that's probably the correct move, at least from like the red tribe as a whole. You could argue from Jawan's perspective as an individual, it's probably more pertinent for him to just immediately not lose a challenge in front of him, because if they do, he's probably eliminated. But
right, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think from the red tribe as a whole, and I assume because he revealed this to them, they probably made the decision as a tribe. I think it's a better decision for the tribe, probably a worse decision for Juwan as an individual, but vice versa would have been the other way for him.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense what you're saying there. For me, it's just like, well, this tribe's probably going to lose if it was an even playing field. So it's not going to be that big of a deal. And there's going to be less of them around later.
That's fair.
For it to be a big deal. But you bring up the swing vote. Also a very good point. So a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you could argue either way. I think there's legitimate arguments either way. It's one of the rare cases where there's not like an obvious correct decision.
Right. So, I thought it was a fun, interesting twist. And the fact that the Yellow Tribe won, that's also fun.
Mm-hmm.
20 pounds of coconuts didn't stop them at all. They were good. Jason, such a beast at puzzles.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. From alternate to puzzle god in the matter of a few days.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what a lot of these like new era tribe successes come down to is like, is the tribe generally in shape? And I think the Yellow Tribe is the most obviously in shape of the three tribes on average. And then also, do you have somebody who's good at puzzles? And I think that they also have the person on the season who's the best at puzzles. So, so it's just a crushing position from a challenge perspective.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, this tribe is probably not going to lose before a swap. So we'll see. It's good for my winner pick. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, both you and Dylan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we'll see there. As far as the dynamics of this tribal council, very funny that Annie was just so out of the loop, like what was happening. Do you credit that to her tribe mates being very good at misting her, or is she just very bad at Survivor?
I mean, 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, I think. I think Alex is probably pretty good, at least from like a social deception perspective. I think that if he was legitimately like considering using his idol to make a play on Sophie here, and that wasn't just like heavily played up to make the edit slightly less.
Even when I was watching it, I was like, "There's no way he's gonna do that."
Like, there's no way, but like,
yeah,
there's a difference I think between the producers like heavily prompting him to get him to like talk through every possible scenario, so they had some potential alternate story they could throw in as a decoy, versus like this was a plan he legitimately formulated on his own and was actually somewhat considering. Because if it's the latter, like I think it's a really horrible idea, and like the fact that he like even considered that idea, I think is not like I think it's a bad indication for me for his like kind of strategic mind going forward. Like obviously he didn't end up doing it, so like it's hard for me to judge heavily, but like I don't know. For me, Alex is like I think that he's really good socially and kind of questionable strategically for me.
Yeah, I think like when I was watching his confessionals, I was thinking like he probably like pitched the idea like I could do this, and then the producers were like, "Can you give us a confessional where you're like saying that as if you're gonna do it?" And then they put that in the episode. That was but we won't know until Alex gets voted off or wins or whatever, where he can let us know. So
no, 100%. I mean, that's definitely like a possibility I thought of as well. Like that could be the case, and if that's the case, then that's fine. Like,
then you need to play the game when you're on these shows. Like you need to give the producers stuff to work with. And in my opinion, probably more in Big Brother than in Survivor. But if you do that stuff for the producers, I feel like the producers will like semi-favor you in some way. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I think that like. It also is with Survivor compared to Big Brother even too, like we have the issue where it's an edited show. So like we can only evaluate or like, make analysis based off of the story that we're being told by the edited product from production. So like, as opposed to where on Big Brother, we can, make a relatively accurate analysis based off of the actual knowledge of reality.
Mhm. Do you think there's any world that Annie survives if she wasn't spending like days being like, we need to get our strongest member out?
Well, that's the thing about Annie's position, right? I think that like the only way that she survived based off of the like social structure of that tribe was ironically for her to turn against Alex, which seemed like
Right.
something she was not going to ever consider doing.
Mhm.
So I don't think that there were actually really any outs for her. Because like it seemed like the only person that legitimately was potentially interested in making some sort of move was Sophie on Alex, especially after he found the Beware advantage. And so I think the only move that theoretically could have worked if ahead of time Annie had been planting seeds with Sophie, like anti-Alex seeds with Sophie slightly, as opposed to anti-Jake seeds. And if then, some kind of conversation happened of like, hey, we could blindside Alex, I think that Sophie would have been open to that. It would have, flushed out the idol. It would have been basically the move that Alex talked about making, but in reverse. I don't think it would have been correct for Sophie to make. Like, you could maybe argue it. Like, I think with Sophie, there's a better argument because she doesn't have the idol, whereas Alex has the idol. So, like, Alex doesn't have to make that move because he already has the security blanket of the idol for if the tribe whittles down further. Whereas, like, with Sophie, like, there's, I think, more of, like, a 50-50 argument to make that kind of a move. But, like, that's really Annie's only out. Yeah, I don't think that there was ever even a consideration in her mind to do that. And I don't even think she understood the tribe dynamics enough to, like, get close to understanding that was what she had to do.
No, yeah, I agree. I just don't think she had the game to like read these people and know what to do. And that's it's fine. Not everyone's a gamer, right? Not everyone's gonna have their finger on the pulse, but it's very rare that someone's just so off on everything.
Yeah, I do appreciate that she was willing to play. Obviously, she played badly, but I think that like I like we talked about with Big Brother season. Like, I'm willing to at least be happy for people who are playing badly but actively, as opposed to just kind of like there and then they get voted off.
No, I agree. Totally agree. I think she was fun. It made for a somewhat fun tribal council in the sense that it's like, man, this is gonna come onto her. What's her reaction gonna be? And she took it well. She was just like, they got me. I thought I was in charge. And what'd she say? I thought I was the puppet master, but I ended up being the puppet. Like, that's a pretty good final words line.
Yep. Yeah, I think I think one of the reasons why I like am high on Alex's social game at the very least is that like her immediate reaction was to like hug Alex and like wish him good luck. If this is like a blindside and your supposed number one ally was in on it and like completely snowed you, like for some people I would say that the average reaction isn't necessarily to like wish them good luck and like be like, hey, we're all good.
It's like Natalia getting voted off of David versus Goliath. Like, that's more what you expect. But yeah. So I mean, we'll see. This tribe, I don't know, man. They need a challenge that they can not have to do a puzzle in.
Or swap. I think swap is like,
swap.
Yeah.
It's rough out there.
Yeah, that's the thing too, because it feels like all four of them that are left have been built up as like long-term characters.
Right.
So it's very odd. I don't know where they go from here. Like, I think obviously if they go to tribal council next,
to two, that'd be fun. Two tribes of eight, like regular old Survivor.
If they do that, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm back in on the season, but like it's very odd because like either they go on a win streak, there's a swap or something else, because like it definitely feels like all four of them are going to be involved in the story of the season. Like, I feel like Jeremiah especially, because he'd be the next obvious person to get voted out if they were to go back. I would assume, and
he's had a good amount of screen time.
Yeah, him and
laugh people love. Yeah. I think you're right. Jake has more shoes to hide. This can't be the end for him.
I think Jake's 100% safe no matter what. Like,
I mean, it's so tough to vote off your biggest, strongest guy when you're losing challenges.
I mean that, and also I think he's a very good social player, from what we've seen at least, like minus the shoe stuff. Like he basically like formed a 3-person alliance where he has like 2 number ones and he's the fulcrum.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's the slot.
Yeah. So, we'll see. But, maybe it's just low expectations, but I'm not as much a hater. Also, maybe I just like mourned Survivor sooner than everyone else, and I'm on the other side of it now.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a hater of the season. I'm just ambivalent to the season so far. Like it just hasn't like grabbed me at all. I have basically no opinion of it.
The cast really isn't standing out. Like there's no Carolyn to like really capture you as like an interesting character, or even like Banu. I remember that whole tribe that season were like great characters. That's why 2 of the 3 of them are coming back on 50 and the other one won. The other one's Banu. I mean, Jelinski was being referenced for like, the rest of the season. So like, I just don't know if there's any standout characters to me right now. And I think that's hurting the show a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I think there could be standout characters. Like we've on the other 2 tribes, like we've seen like splashes of it here and there. It's just that like we haven't had enough time with those 2 tribes yet, and they haven't like we've seen kind of their dynamics, but like they haven't got a tribal yet, and they haven't like really fully focused on any one of those 2 tribes for us to care too much, because the other tribe has been such a disaster that they've had to mostly focus on now.
Right. That's good point. So there's still hope for the season. Everyone don't
on the season 100%. Yeah, no. Look, there were parts of last season where I was just like genuinely not enjoying watching it. And like that's been the case for like multiple times during the new era, and even just like throughout the history of Survivor. I'm not enjoying watching the season so far. I just like it's just whatever. It's just not like it's not grabbing me. It's not compelling to me yet. I'm not sold in on the season yet, but I'm not out of the season either.
Yeah, I thought last year the pre-merge was pretty strong, and then it fell off in the back half. Maybe it'll be a reverse. Yeah. I
mean, I think that like the way that the show and Jeff have been promoting it is like the back half. Like they've been talking about it in terms of like the back half of the season is really wild, and so maybe like it's hard to buy in because like Jeff regularly lies.
Hard to believe Jeff
about the quality of the show, or like has at the very least misleading takes on the quality of the show. But I'm at least cautiously optimistic that the season could be on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to?
We didn't really talk about the Yellow Tribe at all. I guess what is your, because we have this like 4-person thing that kind of forms there, and then MC like rats it out to Sophie immediately. Like, what was your kind of take on that?
I mean, interesting, but again, like you said, we need them to actually have to vote before we can really make much of a. And I feel similar with the 4 people on the Red Tribe, where it's like, this is interesting. If it goes anywhere, will it go anywhere? Yeah.
Well, with the Red Tribe, that feels more locked because there was no dissension. Like that fork seems strong. Sage seemed kind of strategically inept, and like Jawan seemed kind of socially inept. So I don't really see like that breaking in. Whereas with the Yellow thing, like they formed before, and then somebody immediately ratted it out to somebody outside the 4. That's a little more intriguing to me. So I would like to see them go to.
I would love to see them go to. Yeah, I was about to say that. I would love to actually see it happen, and because I don't really know who's going to go. In the deeper Matt gets in the game, Matt was very obviously the odd man out in terms of just looking at the tribe. He's pretty significantly older than everybody else on that tribe, but the longer he stays around, I think the longer he will be around, in terms of getting into a good position. So I'm not sure who would go home, on the yellow tribe.
Yeah, I mean, like just because like you're an age outlier doesn't necessarily mean like you're going to be, not able to put into a good social position. Like obviously, like on the red tribe, like Nate is in a really good position right now. So
no, yeah, I think it'll be interesting. No, I will say, like, I wish maybe we can put this is the problem with the 6-wheel tribe. They only have a few older people. They don't want to disadvantage a tribe by having them be on the same tribe, so they don't put them on the same tribe. So then you have just like odd people out. One day when Survivor goes back to 2 tribes, that won't be as big a deal.
Well, I mean, again, 50 is going to have like a significantly older cast, I think, than we've seen in a long time. So simply because of like there's a lot of old school returning players. So
yeah, so it'll be better. Brighter days are ahead.
Yeah, and then again, hopefully 51 they make some more longer term adjustments to the macro production decisions.
Yep. And then Delusion will just believe that they're going to do an international crossover season every year with Jonathan as the host, and that'll be the real Survivor to me. No proof that'll happen, just that one rumor on Twitter that one time.
Yeah, well, that's all. That's all we can. We have to believe in something.
Yeah, who's the guy, the Skydance guy? He's like something Barry Weiss.
Yeah,
is that his name? Barry Weiss.
Barry Weiss is no, Barry Weiss is not
him.
No, well, Barry Weiss is a woman, and
man.
She I think works.
David Ellison. David Ellison, if you're hearing this, please do the 3-season Survivor thing. With 1 Australian, 1 American, 1 international clash. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were a woman, someone else. Sorry about that.
I don't want to get too political on the show, so I won't say what I wanted to say about Barry.
Yeah, right. You know what the problem was? Does David Ellison have something to do with Oracle?
He's the CEO, right?
Yeah, CEO, along with who's the other guy? Co-founder of Oracle.
Yeah, Steele? Steele's not Oracle, though. I don't know. We're getting way off track.
So what are the people who like are high up in Oracle is related to, I think, DB Weiss from Game of Thrones. I just remember hearing that and being like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? So I think that's where I cut my wires across. Oracle.
Yeah, I
don't know. It doesn't matter. This is not.
Yeah, this is crazier than our average tangent, and also has nothing to do with anything to do with the show. Like usually our tangents are at least like reality TV like adjacent. This is not even reality TV adjacent.
Yep. This is bad. This is bad radio.
Yeah, this is like a hypothetical employee at a company that is run by the father of the guy who now owns a network with Survivor.
You know what's even worse? I was thinking of Mark Benioff, who is the Salesforce CEO. Well, Oracle and Salesforce are pretty similar. As someone who's worked with both of them, they're similar programs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's man. I feel like Sophie right now at Tribal. It's just like I don't know.
You have brain fog. Yeah, you got brain fog with I don't. Whoever is still listening at this point, good on you, because I would not be.
Yeah, this is what 3 months of Big Brother does to a person.
It's 3 months of Big Brother 27 in particular.
Yeah, where it's just like, whoa, not even a break. We're right back at it with the Blindsiders. But you know what?
Scrambles your brain.
Yep. I love it. And then even like following the Fallout stuff on Twitter, as you know, somehow I can't get enough of the BB-27 drama that's still going on despite the season being over.
Well, we didn't have the normal come down that we have with most of our other seasons, like where like the last few weeks of the season are kind of like, you know, low key and not really like exciting, right?
Where you're just like, I'm ready for this to be over. That's fine. Yeah, no, that's a great point, Ben. Oh man. All right. Well, Ben, anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
No, I mean, if you're a Big Brother fan, go listen to our, you know, our Big Brother 27 finale coverage.
Yes, I have no room. Please go check it out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not doing anything else. You know, we've talked about potentially covering the Amazing Race episode 2 happen. We'll see if that ends up happening.
Figure out when to do that. Last night's episode I thought was really good. On the Amazing Race. Disappointed with the outcome, just because spoilers for the Amazing Race. I love Angela. I want Angela on my screen more, and I only got 2 episodes of her. Shame.
Yeah. Put her on Survivor 51.
Please do it. Please. Yeah. Jeff, come on. It would be gold. She would be so fun. But yeah, no, I think the new season of The Amazing Race has been very good so far. And not surprising because we got like a bunch of reality TV vets. They're going to make good TV, like just how it is. But yeah, so stick around for that. Ben will be competing in a Hearthstone tournament soon, and we're gonna do some streams where I try to help him train as much as that's possible. Or Ben is gonna build a deck for me to play against him, so he can be ready to play against it in the future. I think Maggie will probably join as well. If you listen to our A Look in the Mirror podcast, she's our co-host on there. Jenny might join as well. I love from the Love Island podcast. So, you know, I think it'll be fun, Ben. I'm looking forward to doing that, and looking forward to watching you hopefully win that tournament. That'd be sick. No, but you gotta be positive.
Well, I mean, I'm positive. I'm you know, also realistic. So,
well, I'm not. Ben gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of a look in the mirror, we have like you know potential for the future for us to go back and cover some old seasons of Black Mirror at some point. Now that the Big Brother,
starting with is the first episode the big episode?
Yes, it is. It is the national anthem with the Prime Minister fucks a pig episode. Spoiler alert.
So can't wait to cover that. I've only watched it one time, the first time, and I was like, interesting show. I will continue, and I'm glad I did, but interesting for that to be your first swing at things. It worked out, clearly. But yeah, go check out A Look in the Mirror. In terms of all our podcasts, that one did really well. So I'm excited to get back to it. Because, I mean, you know, we joke about it, but I love Black Mirror. I think it's one of the best shows out there. And other than that, our main channel, Wicked Everything, just put a video out today. Had a couple videos this week. Then Those Fake Nerds had a couple videos over there this week. Wicked Sports, Wicked Scary. Need to make a video tomorrow on something scary. It's Halloween, so I should be even more in the mood for spooky and scary stuff. So yeah, check us out there. Our twitch.tv/Wicked Everything for the Hearthstone streams as well. You know, I just want to be streaming more. We've been talking about playing Power World again. I'd love to stream some Power World. Love that game. Really fun. So, you know, it won't just be reality TV talk on our Twitch. We actually game. Use what the platform's for, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.